Well, guys, I was born this way, and there's no medical reason why that happened. My doctors never thought that I'd be able to walk, and today, I'm walking up. You see, it only takes 3 seconds for someone to tease me when I was at school and just say, you're ugly. You can't do this and you can't do that. And some of you thinking like, man, seriously? You had kids picking on you? Like, how heartless are those kids? Picking on me with no limbs, like you would probably say, well, I'm not that bad. I wouldn't pick on a kid with no limbs. But why would you pick on anyone? Well, because it's fun. It's just culture. There was this one bully. I became his target for 3 weeks. And every time I go by him, I was 13, he was 17. And every time I go by him, he's like, hey, there's Nick. He has no... And you can imagine what he said. And I'm like, what's his problem, man? So I tried to avoid him, and I was so embarrassed. He would say it really loud, and everybody would be looking, and some would be laughing. I'm like, what is this guy's problem, man? So one day, after 3 weeks, I went up to him, and I said, hey. He's like, hey. I said, can you please stop it? He said, stop what? I said, stop teasing me. He said, what are you talking about? I said, every time I walk by, you say that stuff. He's like, what stuff? He didn't know how to take me on. So I'm looking at him and said, nah, man. Every time I walk by, you say exactly this, and I want you to stop. He's like, oh, is that hurting you? Now, I could have said, nah. Or I could have said, yeah. It takes a level of humility to actually say, actually, I don't like that. It's killing me. He said, all right, I'm sorry, man. I was just, playing around. See, I could tease you. I could be tough. People thinking that bullying is tough. It ain't tough. My wheelchair, this is tough. This thing, man. I'll tell you something. You ready? This wheelchair. This thing's so tough. One day, I needed to move a car. So I got my wife to put my car, my 66 Chevelle, in neutral. It's a 2.5-ton car. And I backed it back with this thing. Just like this, like nothing. This thing is tough. Guess what? The definition of tough means it's strong. To show your strength, you need to do something that's difficult. I would sound so stupid if I said, hey guys, I got a Matchbox car one day, and I got some fishing line, and I towed that Matchbox car all around all day. How tough is my BMW? That's stupid. That's the same thing with bullying. You think you're tough? You're trying to show your strength? That's not your strength. You want to know what tough is? Go to the people you teased and say sorry. You want to know what tough is? Go up to the people who still tease you and say, hey, stop it. I forgive you, but please stop it. That's tough.